morning, everyone. I hope you have cuddled up with a warm cup of coffee on this cold morning. It's all frosty outside here in Minnesota, and well, maybe you're in other states where it's still warm. I don't know. I could go for a little more warmth, I think. So grab your cup. I have a devotional this morning I'm going to read first. That's out of my Bible. My Bible is so awesome. It has like this little our daily bread devotionals put right into it. So it's been pretty amazing. I've read a lot of them. So this one's called Entangled, and we'll kind of unpack it a little bit. Felipe Massa of Brazil should have won the Formula One Grand Prix in Singapore in September of 2008. But as he drove off from the refueling stop, while in the lead, the fuel hose was still attached. Oops. By the time his team removed the hose, he had lost so much time that he finished 13th. The Apostle Paul warned Timothy of another kind of attachment that would cause him defeat, the affairs of civilian life. That's 2 Timothy 2:4. He urged Timothy not to let anything slow him down or distract him from the cause of his Lord and Master. There are many attractive things in our world that are so easy to get entangled with: hobbies, sports, TV, computer games. These may start off as refueling activities, but later they can take up so much of our time and thought that they interfere with the purpose for which God created us, to share the good news of Christ, serve him with our gifts, and bring glory to him. Paul told Timothy why he ought not to be entangled with this world's affairs, so that he would please his heavenly Father. If your desire is to please the Lord Jesus, you will want to stay unentangled from the world. As John reminds us, this world is fading away, along with everything that people crave. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever. So the last couple of years, I've been bombarded with ideas that I thought were crazy. I've shared a few of them here. Here I sit doing one of them, right? But it's almost like God has been reading the desires of my heart, and granting them in very weird ways, things I never expected. The part of this reading that I thought was easily overlooked was the part about pleasing God. And this is more old-fashioned term. We don't really talk about that anymore. We've graduated more of a please me mindset over the past half century, or maybe that's humanity at its finest all the time. I don't know. But anyone or most people feel like you should please yourself. The whole you do you, live your truth. You've all heard those. Those have kind of taken over. No one wants to be controlled by anyone but themselves. My life, my rules, right? And I understand that, and at the same time, it doesn't usually work very well. But the devotion I read earlier, the race car driver barged ahead, doing his thing, his own agenda, probably against his team's agenda, against his better judgment, probably, and against the rules of the game. So if he had stopped to please or honor the journey, he would have finished first place. Okay, so pleasing God fell out of fashion, right? And what was it replaced with? Pride, self-sufficiency, autonomy, independence. I don't know. Those are some options that I could think of off the top of my head. God has a pretty strong view of pride. We've heard about that. There's a lot of verses in the Bible about pride. And it's preached from pulpits a lot. But what does God say about self-sufficiency, autonomy, and independence? Okay, well, here's a few scriptures. 2 Corinthians 3:5. Not that we are sufficient in ourselves to claim anything as coming from us, but our sufficiency is from God. John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Romans 12:3. For by the grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think with sober judgment, each according to the measure of faith that God has assigned him. One more. 1 Peter 4:10. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. There were so many verses. I just picked a couple. I don't think God is too worried about my ninja skills because in taking care of myself, because he seems pretty intent on instilling us one thing, which is to please him. And ironically, when we are set on pleasing him, and if my ninja skills don't cut the mustard, he gives you what you need. There's that. So is it hard? How hard is it to please God? Is it hard to please God? It says, without him, I can do nothing. I am me in all my glory because he makes it so. That's a hard one to swallow. I think most of us have been concerned at one time or another that we would lose track of ourselves or lose like who we are and what I want if we give over that part of us to God, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I understand like where our hearts and our minds go on that, to lose track or lose a tight hold of something that we feel is like integrally like us at our core. But I think what we've forgotten is that God knows us more deeply than we know ourselves. So do you ever think that he might know your desires better than you do? I think that if my sole focus was pleasing God, I wouldn't be worried about so many things. Like if I had been worried that I will not achieve my life goals or be able to do what I think I might want to do with my life, do you think he knows that? Like, do you think he's worried about that? Do you think he knows exactly what you need? As I was writing those couple sentences, I'm like, is that sound as stupid as it looks? Like, do I really think he doesn't know me? Really? I mean, it sounds as dumb as it looks, for sure. I think God's intensely aware of what makes you tick. Remember how many times you changed, for those of you who went to college, how many times you changed your degree map? Like 5 times, whatever. Because you thought you might want to try something different and you weren't sure. So you tried this and you tried this and you tried this. And like finally at the end, you settled on the thing. Remember all the business ideas you tried to start? Some of them never got off the ground because you thought maybe this was great and nah, that's not really my cup of tea. You don't think that he possibly could know what you need or want in a mate? The more scenarios I could write about that, again, the dumber it sounded. I think he knows exactly what you want. Here's a couple of verses about that. Psalms 37, 4-6. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to him, trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light and your justice as the noonday. 1 John 5:14. And this is the confidence that we have towards him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. Psalm 37, 1-40. This is not 1-40. I'll have to read, that's the wrong, this is Psalm 37. I think I wrote the wrong verse here. Oh, of David, fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to him, trust in him, and he will act. John 15:7. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. Last one, Psalm 145, 17-20. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and kind in all his works. The Lord is near to all those who call on him and to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. Sounds like he doesn't want you to be miserable. That's not what I'm hearing. That's not what I'm reading. I'm not seeing any of that in those verses or the other 100 I could have added. If pleasing him means that I'm on the fast track to getting the desires of my heart, why am I not all in? I should be. What if our desires change? Why is this so worrisome? Right now, I think we have an idea of what it's going to take to keep us happy. And we don't want to give that up. We don't want to see that what keeping us happy could change. Like what we think right now will keep us happy, like we're pretty set on it. Like I know what I need. I want this, I need this, and this track fast track to this, my job, my whatever. We don't see any other way. And I think it scares us to think that what our desires are right now could change. For most of us, as we've gotten more grounded, more calm, less influenced by others, and what they care or what everybody thinks about us. We don't really care what people think about us anymore. Sometimes as you get to my age, you're like, take me or leave me kind of thing, right? We found more balance, and that feels good. We have grown up over time. Don't you think that your desires and how you please God could change? If my desires have changed so many times over 50 years, I don't know, I don't know how many more years I have left, but I'm assuming they're going to change again. I'm so glad there are things I thought I needed back in my 20s that I'm so glad God did not grant. I thought that was the thing. I needed that. So glad he was way ahead of me. I would have hated it now. There are some things that I said I would never do, but God gave me a nudge or this burning desire. See a video I put up a couple weeks ago. And I knew I wanted to please him, and the task that he asked of me stretched me, but it was absolutely life-changing. If you can take one thing out of this whole thing, I hope it's that pleasing God is the journey. It's not the end goal. That's the whole middle chunk of the journey that we're on. The longest part of your life between your two end dates, or your beginning date and your end date, the journey. That's where we seek to please God. At the end of your life, it's sort of too late. It's not much left there. So you can take this day by day, seeking out his thoughts, diving into his word, living on the edge of your seat in the expectation of what you could encounter on this day because you're looking to please him. It can be a sense of excitement. Okay, God, what's up today? You know what I mean? Do you trust him? I think it comes down to that. Do you think he can understand you better than you know yourself, and can lead you to a place you've never imagined? Do you trust him to do that? I know I have a dream right now that I think I want, and I'm praying for his will to be done, because obviously if this dream isn't good for me and isn't right for me and us, my family, my husband and I, obviously I don't want it. Right now it sounds great, looks great, looks like it will be that's the desire of my heart. But I'm praying, because my past experiences have taught me that when I try too hard and force things to happen, I usually hate what I get. The regrets run deep. When I try too hard and it's outside of his will, it turns out bad every time. I do not like it. So I have learned to sit back and trust and just pray and say, okay, God, you lead, you guide, you do these nudges, you send me on this path, you do your thing. And then I pray that that's the end goal, but maybe the end goal will be bigger, better. I don't know. So can you trust him to live each day with no other goal than to please him? If your desires change, can you grasp that you will have a new desire? Something maybe that's even better than the old one that you had? One that excites you, draws you closer to him. And then your desires can change again as many times as God wills it. And you're going to be okay with it if your intent is to please him. You're going to find peace in that. Your peace will go beyond your understanding. I'm a living testament to this. Whatever happens, I know God is working. I know he's forming me. I know that he's blessing me with things I do not know yet. So today is the day that I live to please him. And I try to trust him with that every day. So the challenge for you is, can you let go of your ideas? Can you let him shape you and form you and your desires and see what happens? He might even have a greater desire, one you haven't even thought up yet. So trust him and see what happens. See you next time.